Did you know you can watch a life-giving kids service each week? Go to lifechurchgreenbay.com/kids, where your kids can learn about Jesus in a fun, uplifting way. New episodes release every Friday for you to watch and discuss. Make kids service a part of your kids watching lineup.
Now, more than ever, it is your giving that makes it possible to bring fresh, creative resources and engaging experiences to your home, the 920, and beyond. Your gift of any amount makes a difference. When you give consistently, you make it possible to bring the life-giving message of Jesus to our community, and you are providing for local and international missions that Life Church supports. Make a gift today. Online giving is safe, simple, and secure.
Welcome, Life Church family. We are moving forward. You may have heard we are going back in the DePere building on January 10th. Besides moving forward here in the 920, we are also moving forward beyond. In fact, some staff members who came to us from San Diego 4 years ago, DJ and Candace Ford, are going to take Life Church back to San Diego. They already have pockets established there, and there'll be a Life Church San Diego in the year to come. Incredible. So they're moving forward, as well as Journey to Wholeness, which is, again, meeting in the Green Bay area, also has done 2 Journey to Wholeness sessions in Dallas, Texas. So we have a staff member going to establish Journey to Wholeness and other avenues of Life Church beyond. There's a couple more cities where we've had people say, is there a pocket in Florida because we're moving there? And we searched for a pocket, it didn't come up. Should we start a pocket in Florida? And I said, yes. They said, well, we'll just invite everybody on our Facebook group for St. Pete to our pocket when we get it started. Man, the beyond is moving forward. The 920 is moving forward. We're so grateful that you've been a part of it. And in a pandemic, we've pivoted, but we've moved forward, and we're doing that again. Thank you for your tithes, your offerings, your time, your prayers, and just the excitement that we can have when we reach the 920 and beyond. We love you guys so much.
Hey friends, in all of the introductions that I have gotten to do in my life, I can tell you I've never been more humbled or excited to make an introduction more than this one. If you've known me for very long, you've heard me use the words of my spiritual father and my pastor, the late Dr. Fulton Buntain. One of the great dreams of my life would have been for him to see what's happening here in Green Bay and how much God has used his influence on my life to make an impact on your friends and on your family. In fact, I have a letter that I have kept when his wife, Lorraine Buntain, when we opened our second building, she sent us a check to help with the renovations. And she wrote in that letter, she said, Sean, Pastor would be so proud. I wept over that letter. No one has ever made more of an impact on my life than Dr. Fulton Buntain. He taught me what it was like to be a normal guy and still love Jesus. He was live to TV for 35 years on a program called Introduction to Life. I've always wanted to show one of his messages, but they didn't keep them in a format that was usable in today's technology. His daughter tracked down one message that we could use, and today we get to watch it. And so will you join me in welcoming my spiritual father and my mentor, the late Dr. Fulton Buntain.
In fact, when you look at life, you would agree with me, it's one long series of goodbyes. It starts out when you're born. A baby enters into this world, and it's goodbye to a life that baby's had for 9 months, living in a sack of water in total darkness. And then that baby, in order to get born, has to die. Die to a life confined, a life where there's nothing to see but total darkness, has eyes to see. But in a few minutes, a miracle happens, and it's goodbye to the old, and it's hello to life. Life's made up of that, isn't it? Goodbyes. Here in our school, it's interesting. Come next fall and hang out around the corner someplace, and you watch young mothers bringing their children to our preschool. And it's always interesting. They're all dressed up, and they come in, and you watch those young mothers. Although it's a happy day, you see them leave to go out and get in their car and say goodbye to their little guy, and you see them weeping. It's goodbye. Goodbye to the life that was, to a different life. Those kids aren't home now. And on it goes, on it goes. You come around here in a few weeks and kids go into summer camp. You'll see men just like you, well, not this age of men, but men, shedding a tear because their youngster their little guy gets on a bus and takes off. Goodbye. Our choir tours, goodbye. Goodbye. Then there comes weddings, like you saw a little demonstration here. And at a wedding, and I've had so many of them that I'm up here and looking down there, and here's these handsome people, and they're getting married, and everybody's happy, and all the flowers and all the lights. And looking down in the front couple of rows, there's people crying. It's goodbye. Life is jammed with that whole thing. Goodbye. Of course, not to speak less of, but the times that we stand in a cemetery someplace. And one more time, people are weeping. I've had funerals where the casket, just the other day, is a little casket like this. And stand there when young parents and family weep for whatever reason that little child died, or a teenager who dies suddenly in a car wreck, a couple's goodbye, the tears of it all. There's something about us that we don't want things to change. Stay the way they are. I got my comfort zone here, don't you know? It's interesting that when I've had funerals of people that are over 100 years of age, what's interesting is people are crying in the audience. And you'd think, well, isn't that long enough to live? It still hurts to say goodbye. Our little skit here today is connected with the song that was so famous, that little world that we live in that is so much us. For my own family, I remember we have 4 children, 3 girls and a boy, and I remember so well when my daughter Robin went off to college. I am mush under those circumstances. And I went out to the airport and said goodbye, but my wife had to wait for the plane to leave. I couldn't wait for the plane to leave. I couldn't handle that. So I said goodbye and did my weeping on the way out. I said, I'll meet you, Lorraine, in the car. Goodbye. Goodbye, not to my daughter. I wanted her to go to college. But there's something about breaking that something. And most of you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then a young man, a preacher by the name of Rich Wilkerson, we had a lovely wedding right here, and we really did it up great. And then the morning came when they got into their car, and they packed it all up, and they took off out the driveway, heading for Dallas, Texas. And I thought, that guy is running off with my daughter. Who does he think he is? More tears. Goodbye. Life is a whole series of that. My father was gravely ill with pancreatic cancer, and he was always such a strong, big man. And I went to his bedside. I had to get home because my wife was having our second child, Kathy, and her birth was by cesarean section, and so it was a big deal at home. So I had to say goodbye to Dad. And Dad and I were very close, and some of you may have known him. He pastored great churches and all. And I took his bony hand in mine in that hospital, Royal Alec Hospital in Edmonton, Alberta. And he looked up at me and he said, "Fulton, I'm sorry." I said, "Sorry? What are you sorry for?" And in his last moments, he was saying he was sorry that he didn't spend more time with me when I was growing up. He was sorry. I thought, "Dad, sorry? Man, you got nothing to be sorry about." He was a great man of prayer and a great man of Bible study. And he then finished his little talk with me, and then he said to me, "Fulton, I fought a good fight. I finished the course. It's time to go." So I had to leave to catch an airplane and go. All that I've said there, this goodbye stuff, I'm delighted to tell you this morning, in this book, Jesus, that's why he came, so that there's never a final goodbye. Never. In fact, he turned to his disciples in the 14th chapter of John, and you know it. Jesus said this, "Let not your heart be troubled. If you believe in God, disciples, believe in me. I'm leaving. Things are going to change. But this is not a final goodbye. We'll meet again. In my Father's house are many mansions. I go to prepare a place for you, that where I am," there it is. This is not over, disciples. This is not over. This is the beginning. This is the beginning. "In my Father's house are many mansions. I go to prepare a place for you." So, there's not that ever a final goodbye for believers. A few weeks ago, I spoke on something, and I've got to remind you again. You remember past, present, and future? The past, that was back there when I was saying goodbye to Robin and getting on an airplane. The past, when I was saying goodbye to my dad. The past, when I said goodbye to my dear mother. You know about that in your life. You have done that. And then there was a present that we had together. And I remember that. I got photo albums. I got mementos. I got all kinds of things to remind me of those present days. But those loved ones from the past that used to be in my present, where are they now? They are in my future. Hello? Grasp that thought, and it will change your whole outlook of living and dying. They are not in my past, that's in my memory. They are not in the past present, that's in my memory. But the Bible lets us know that our loved ones have gone to a heaven. Jesus called it a place. So they're in my future. They're in my future. I will see them again. They're there. Hey, yeah, good for you. Jesus said, "That's why I came, guys. That's why I came." There never has to be a final goodbye. There's going to be an intermediate time. Because Jesus said, "I'm not going to be with you, fellas. I send you out. I won't be with you. But when you die, I will be in your future. You'll see me again." That is the story that the church has. Nothing wrong with those old picture albums. Nothing wrong with those old things that your mother had or your great-grandfather. But they are in your future. Jesus stood by a tomb, and there he was on John 11. I am the resurrection and the life. He that believes in me, though he dies, yet shall he live. Father's Day. Wow. Here's the basic question. Here really is the bottom line. Are you ready? Have you accepted Christ as your personal Savior? Do you have that inner conviction? You can be a good guy. You can go to church. You can even tithe, put money in the offering. But are you enjoying what the gospel offers? What God offers? The end of goodbyes. Isn't that amazing? The end of goodbyes. You can go out to the cemetery out here, and they'll sell you all levels of caskets. Oh, man, I have been... I don't think there's a preacher in 30 years that had more funerals than Mountain View, and this guy here spoke at him. I think I had 4 and 5 at one day one time. But with all that said, and by the way, you can get different level of concrete for the box. Thicker, longer, sealed, da-da-da, da-da, 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 da-da. And I'm not knocking. I just always tell everybody, don't spend too much money on boxes. Put it in the missionary fund. Put it in the church so we can get more people to go to heaven. But don't forget it. It's tough to say goodbye, and you have had your goodbyes, and you'll have some more, and it will hurt, hurt, hurt. Agony of that goodbye. And it may be not the goodbye of dying. It may be a divorce. It may be a goodbye of a situation that was so nice, but then the thing fell apart. And you know about that, and there's a lot of pain there. Jesus came to say, end to goodbyes. You can start over again wherever you're at in your life. Forgiveness comes and you start over again. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Say amen to that. Amen. Did you get it? Stand with me, please. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. Okay, you got it? Say it with me. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. Jesus said it. Jesus said it. Now you can walk out of here. No more fear. He takes the fear away. He takes the hurt of the goodbyes. I'm not saying that you're going to say goodbye to your daughter and she's going to go and live with this man in Ethiopia or something. It's going to hurt. But I'm saying the final goodbyes have been taken care of.
To bring peace, to be love, to be nearer to us. So you've come to bring life, to be light, to shine brighter in our
This moment doesn't have to end now. The things you are thinking about, you're questioning, you're mulling over right now, have a conversation with someone. Call someone up and talk about this. Or if you're with someone right now, you could go to lifechurchgreenbay.com or text discussion to 97,000. There you can download discussion questions to prompt even more. And if you'd rather listen, try out the Chew on That podcast, where Pastor Scott and a guest talk every week about this very message. You'll find these discussion questions you download will help you with whether you're new to Jesus or you've known Jesus for decades. Either way, they will help you on your Jesus journey.